Hi guys, welcome to Robin Hood Diaries. Today, remember, promise not to say this evening. Oh, well, I just said it. Anyway, today, this 24 hours, this, what do you call it? Solar day, when I worked in my industry that I can't talk about. Solar day. So I previewed today as my mom, basically her illustrious career at Saks Fifth Avenue, involving who she tailored and fitted, or at least supervised, coordinated, in the 60s, one of which, as I previewed, was Marilyn Monroe. But there's a lot of other, I'll lead up to that with a lot of other kind of wild and juicy stuff. Okay, so we've all heard about Liz on one show or another. Liz, my mother, Elizabeth Brady, came from nothing, like a tiny village in the middle of nowhere, well, outside of Dublin in Ireland. She came from absolutely nothing to absolutely something. So I'll skip her early career, how she became this. But long story short, and this is like unquestionable, my mother ran fashion in Beverly Hills in the 60s. From 1960 to 1970, my mother was, basically chief coordinator, director for Saks Fifth Avenue in Beverly Hills. Now, there was nothing in Beverly Hills but Saks Fifth Avenue. There was Magnons. There was, oh Christ, I don't even know. There was like Bonwit Tellers, Bullocks, none of them rivaled. Saks Fifth Avenue meant high fashion at a big price. So, being who she is, very influential. I mean, really, like women would see what my mother wore and copy her. But the thing with my mother is that she changed her whole fashion every day, so you couldn't keep up with it. Why? Because it was like a year ahead of its time. So very much in demand in the 60s, being the authority on fashion. Again, I'm not overstating this. I mean, she decided what designer to work. She used to call Trivia Bill. Jimmy Galanos was Jim, or Jimmy. And this is kind of lingering over from her decade in the 60s. So again, very in tremendous demand. But my mother was also very socially conscious. And I mentioned this before, maybe, and I'll mention it again real quick. My mother was a tremendous innovator in Beverly Hills. Saks being the flagship everything for fashion in Beverly Hills. My mother, when she took over directorship, insisted, like demanded. See, before then, African American women only controlled the elevators, the crank and being able to get it right on the floor and whatever, the little seat. And that's all they did. So my mother demanded that they take all the women, since they were familiar with the store, and put them out on the sales floors as saleswomen, salespersons. And that was like, non-negotiable for my mother. So what did they do? They took them all out of the elevators, probably, replaced them. But a board of these black women became saleswomen. The first saleswomen in Beverly Hills ever. No one touched her, and my mom was unparalleled and an innovator, like I said. The other thing she developed was college boards for major department stores, and Saks being the flagship, whereby she would gather, of course, pretty upscale women from neighboring universities and stuff who were interested in fashion. She would create boards, what you call college boards, where basically it was free work, but not really, because these women were they were diving into pieces of fashion at the highest level that they would never have access to in any kind of internship. So that's her kind of innovation, that's her style, okay. So my mom didn't get ready for work. My mom basically had a couple apartments down, or one apartment building down from Saks, and she would basically go to Saks, and she was styled for the day, because the people that she interacted with, she had to be impeccable. So she'd arrive to work, George Masters would do her hair, famous hairdresser, Alexis Kadam would do her makeup, and then of course she picked the clothes, and then she was ready for the day. But this was necessary, because she was walking fashion. She wasn't a maven. She just dictated fashion, but for the very rich. So that's where we're getting into the Marilyn Monroe part. So for the very rich, I mean, my mother's clients were very like the Betsy Bloomingdales and the Estee Lauders of the world. You know, Rhonda Fleming was somebody like, you know, she begged for my mother. Mrs. Bob Hope was she was very good friends with Bob Hope and his wife. And of course, his wife depended on my mother for everything fashion. My mother was also very close to Tina Sinatra. Tina Sinatra's Frank's ex-wife, mother of Nancy. And Tina and my mom were close. Again, big money, you know, like, you know, Janet Leigh, although Janet wasn't a client of my mother, but I don't know. I mean, how much more than the Hopes and the Sinatras can I name? In fact, Tina Sinatra gave my mother a Mustang Mach 1. I mean, this is just getting really weird. But yeah, she gave my mom a Mustang Mach 1. Now, Mach 1s were great. Mach 1s were just, Google them, they're fabulous cars. And that's what she drove. Except that our apartment fourplex in Beverly Hills, across from Beverly High, set aflame